Hey TJ, let's take a look at your week 6 assignment 1 draft here, your final draft. I think this has turned out pretty good overall. The dragon, I think, has got a great subtle texture going on here that really helps to make it stand out. I actually like all the textures that are occurring within here. The stone, little things that you're doing in the ground plane, which are really, really cool. The dragon itself, and then the piles that are occurring. I think that this ends up being one of the strongest aspects of the final that you've got, is all these different things occurring, but none of them, I think, overtaking the drawing in any way. Maybe the stone wall just being the strongest because of the contrast between the stone and the mortar in between, but things like the dragon and things like the ground plane, I think, work out really nicely because of the way that you've just kind of understated them, but still working out really nice, to great effect. The shadow's good on the dragon, on the ground plane. I think that works out really nicely. I'd actually like to see just a little bit of shading within the dragon itself. I think you could probably go in, and add a little bit of just some gray, darker gray, to some of those areas that are not going to be getting hit with light. Even a little bit of some gray, on the back side of the tail, underneath the legs, and on the left side of the arms and the legs can help to give it a little bit more of a rounded form. You have some of it occurring, it looks like, along the belly, but I'd like to actually see a little bit more of that being brought forth so that you can make it seem just a little more three-dimensional. I think also trying to get a little more value difference to occur within the gold, so that it really has that sense that there's a kind of a turn, that there is this kind of rounded form to the gold. I think just a few more layers of gray to get some of the darker darks on the left side, and you might be able to bring this kind of darker gray forward just a little bit more, and seeing that occur in a few of the other mounts, I think could really be helpful. I'm not sure there's much else that I would want. I really like the texture that's in the ground plane, and I'd almost like to see it kind of continued a little bit more throughout the ground plane. There's some places where I see it, down by the tail and down by the legs, but I don't see it in other places. But it could just be the scan, more than anything else. I like the way that you've dealt with the piles that are closer to the viewer, and I like how the further ones don't have quite as much detail. So, I feel like it's in a pretty good place. I think just a little bit more shading, trying to develop, the form a little bit more with some of the grays that you have, and I think overall that's really all that's needed. It feels very strong. There's a lot of interesting elements in it, a lot of good color work going on in it, and a lot of texture that seems very successful. So nice job, good work over the break. And we'll take a look at it again when you get your final, but I don't think there's much more that you need to do with this for it to work out.